The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent or of the River District Association. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the True North Speaker Series. We got an amazing episode for you today, and it's one that I know is going to be memorable. We have the amazing Knyla Harris.
Hi, everybody.
So this is episode 4 of season 3. We are rolling right along, and they're getting better and better each and every month. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show because this one's going to be one for the record books. So tell us. Are you ready for one? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I know you're ready. So tell us, who is Knyla Harris?
Who is Knyla Harris? Knyla Harris is I love the Lord. Okay. That's number one.
Yeah.
That's number one. I love the Lord. I love people. I love family. And I'm just a purpose-driven person.
Okay.
So that's who Knyla is. I'm just and I'm a giver.
Mm-hmm.
I love being a blessing to people. I love giving. I love helping. I love teaching. So that's pretty much who Knyla is.
So we're going to get our strip already. So tell me, because you said one of my favorite words was purpose. So tell me, what is purpose to you? Just off gate.
What is purpose? Purpose to me is really what God has planned for you. So you know that Jeremiah 29, everybody, So what God and purpose is something that's meaningful. Purpose is passion.
Okay.
And everything, and even though some people don't realize it, but God created everything for a purpose. Everything, everybody has a purpose in life. Don't you know that there are even insects that only see certain colors?
Wow.
Because that color, let's look at the color gold. Well, we just look at that as a beautiful color. Where there's an insect that they can only see that gold because there's a purpose for that insect to see that gold.
Gotcha.
So that's the way that I see purpose. Purpose is just what God has designed for you to do in life.
So how do you know when you're operating in purpose?
I know that I'm operating in purpose, not necessarily so much that everything goes smoothly, but passion.
Yeah.
That's how I know that I'm in purpose. Is even though things may not go 100% all the time, but just to know that passion is still burning.
Yeah.
That passion, this is something that I'm going to push for. This is something that I know that I've got to accomplish. I've got to achieve. Yeah. That's how I know that that's purpose.
And so you wear a lot of hats.
Yes.
So, from the hairstyling, you used to do cake designing, mm-hmm. You're an award-winning photographer, you in the ministry, you do makeup, you do it all. So walk us through that journey. Because I think people don't realize, people see where you sit now, mm-hmm. and they don't realize what it took and how it took for you to get where you are. So kind of walk us through that little journey. Give us a quick snippet of that journey.
Well, the snippet of that journey is, of course, I started working at 16 at Hardee's.
Wow.
I started working at 16 at Hardee's, and then that journey took me to leadership. And then when I left there, went to Bassett Walker for a little while. So then after I left Bassett Walker, that's when I started doing hair.
Okay.
But I've just always been the type of person, I know that these are just that, I guess, desire that God has put in me. If I look at something, I'm going to automatically say, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do everything that I can do to accomplish that. So I don't even remember how I got interested in hair.
Wow.
But I did, and I worked at a place called Sybil's. That was my, I don't know if everybody remembers Sybil's, but I started at Sybil's.
So it was a hair salon?
Yeah, it was a hair salon, and they were called Sybil's.
Wow.
Yes. So that's where I got my start at, my apprenticeship there. And then everybody knew Joanne's. And then from there, I went to Joanne's. And then, of course, from there, it was my own salons.
Wow.
But, and I was always known as the crimp queen.
Okay.
The back in the day when the crimps was like, I was known as the crimp queen. But everything that I have done it with, tried to do it with excellence.
Okay.
And then after I quit hair, I went and worked with the military for a little while. But while I was working with the military was when the cakes were born. And I think all of this on my journey just comes from these creative juices that God has placed on the inside of me. Because I love to create.
Yeah.
I'm an artist at heart. So I just love to create. So then came the cakes and the cake decorating. And how the photography came about was really an accident.
Okay.
It wasn't something that I wanted to do. It wasn't something that I ever thought I wanted to do. But when I was doing cakes, I was just taking pictures with my phone. And I said, I'm going to give me a good camera just so I could take some good pictures of my cakes.
Yeah.
And so I got a little Kodak camera. And I started taking pictures of my cakes. And I said, oh.
I like this.
I like this. I said, oh, I like this. Then I started taking the pictures of my grandson, different things like that, grandchildren. And that's how that was born.
Wow.
That's how photography was born. And I actually did both for a little while because when I would do my clients' wedding cake and I would photograph their wedding. So for a little while, I did both until it got to be a little stressful. And I remember one day I was coming home from delivering a cake because I had been up all night long working on a cake. And I went to sleep while I was driving. And it was nobody but God that woke me up because I was headed for a guardrail.
Wow.
And when I got back home and I told my husband, he said, you're going to have to make a choice.
Yeah.
He said, either you continue the cakes or you do the photography. And that's how I ended up just going ahead into the photography.
You've been an entrepreneur before being an entrepreneur was even popular. What motivated you to step out on your own? Because you talked about manufacturing and working in the shops. What makes that moment when you said, oh, I'm just going to step out and do this independently on my own and be an entrepreneur? Because that takes a lot of work.
It does.
Anybody can have a thought, but when you say, I'm going to be this, and you always operate in your own brick and mortar too, how you get motivated to do that?
I think for me, I guess I could call myself a little daredevil.
Okay.
Because for me, my thing is if I see somebody, if you can do it, I can do it. And not that I'm in competition with you, but I'm just saying, if you can be a business owner, I can be it. So it started, like that with the salon. That was my first business. And so watching these ladies that mentored me in hair, then I said, well, I would like to own my own salon and be able to put other people to work. And that's how that got started. Really, my entrepreneurship was through the beauty salon.
Wow. You talked about earlier before the cameras come on. We always had these conversations with True North before the cameras come on to try to make people more comfortable. But you was talking about a lot of times how you show up and where you at is not really the being of the cause for you to be there. It's just the vehicle. I love that. So that might be some ink along the line, but you're saying that's the vehicle to get you there. And I really love that whole narrative. But when you driving and you say, okay, I'm in the salon, when do you know the pivot? Because I think we talk about that all the time. And it's even a word for grants and everything. They talk about pipelines and pivots. When do you know to pivot?
I just feel like there was just a knowing that my season for this particular thing is just over.
Yeah.
And you know how, because I have had so many different businesses, people would always say, you're a jack of all trades, but a master of none. But I fail to differ because I have mastered them all.
Yeah.
Everything that I have done, I have mastered. And I think that's a good thing and a bad thing with being a creative, because it's like when you master it, it's like, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
I have heard a lot of creators say that. And it's okay.
And it's okay.
You know, because I never forget when I left manufacturing, making good money. And I pivoted and went into Boys and Girls Club and making no money. Like pretty much it was pennies.
Right.
Everybody was like, why you leave? You was making all that money. Why you leave? And I felt the need to explain, but you don't have to.
And you don't. And I remember when I was working with the military, because I had stopped doing hair. That's when I transitioned to was working with the military, and it was a good job, very good job. And that's when I began doing the cakes, and I really just got started. And I remember the Lord just nudging me saying, okay, I need you to come out of that military job and just do cakes. Well, I'm sitting up there going, I'm making $21 an hour.
Yeah, back then,
I'm salaried, and this is good. And I kind of pushed it off. And I remember one day sitting upstairs, and I could hear, just like I'm talking to you, it's like the Lord said, I see it's time for you to move. And after he said that, I went, to my boss, and I told her I'm going to have to, just retire, and we're not retired, but do something different. And I took that step of faith. And was I scared? Yeah. Was I nervous? Yeah. But I was also excited.
Yeah.
So I took that step of faith and started doing cakes, and God blessed it.
Yeah. And that was the same way when I left manufacturing, because I used to walk up the parking lot crying. I used to sit in the break room and cry, and everybody was like, oh, that was meant for me. My friends was like, oh, Lord, when are you going to find stuff else? They was ready with me. Right. But I remember this one day, the club called me. I did the interview that morning. They called me that evening. And I said, well, let me call my husband to make sure. And I called him. He was like, thank God, something else. And I said, well, don't make any money. It's fine. Just go. Just go.
Right.
And I walked right upstairs and said, hey, y'all, I quit. Yeah. And they was like, what? And she was like, well, let me help you create your notice, because in case you ever want to come back. And I had said in my gut, yeah. Lord's will, I'm not going to say that. And I think, like you said, when it's purpose, it works.
It works. Do it scared.
Yeah.
Do it afraid.
And then it don't have to be perfect.
Nope.
And it don't have, who's to say it's not going to be a struggle in it? Sometimes when things are designed for purpose, it start off rough. Because I think a lot of times it has to prove that it can be done. If it was easy, anybody would do.
Right.
So it has to be shown that it's Nyla's purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just, like I said, I'm just the type of person, and that's what people say, Nyla, how do you just do it?
Yeah.
Because I just trust God in it. And it's like, nothing was, what's that saying?
Yeah.
Nothing beats a try.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to try it. And if it fails, it's okay. That's what people have to realize. It's okay. You get up and you go on. But I don't want to ever be in a place to where I say, man, I wish I wish I had went ahead and did that. No, I'm going to go on and I'm going to do it.
Now, what does your get up look like? Because a lot of times people only see the polished version of other people, and they don't understand the late nights or the mishaps. So what does your get up look like? And that's why I love these interviews, because people get to see the other side of things. They don't get to see the masterpiece a lot of time. I mean, they don't get to see what goes into this masterpiece, where it took you how many hours to put the diamonds on this portrait. What does the get up look like?
Now, back when I was doing cakes, people don't they would look at the beautiful cake. They don't realize it was nights that I did not sleep. Wow. Especially doing wedding cakes, sometimes I was literally up 2 days with no sleep.
Wow.
Yes, doing wedding cakes. And then sometimes people wouldn't see that the cake failed, that I had to throw that piece of cake away and I had to go back and remake that cake. You still had a deadline. Wow. People didn't see the nights that I cried because I was so tired.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go to sleep. But you know, I had a client that was depending on me. And so with photography, it's not as stressful or anything. As it was like it was when I was doing cakes. But like you said, you know, even for this portrait that's behind us, it took me and this was hand done. So it took me 4 days.
Wow.
To be able to do this portrait and to bling that portrait out like that. So a lot of times, you know, people just see the end result of the pictures, but they don't see that I stayed up hours editing. And not as stressful with the case because I ain't go to bed when I want to. Yeah. But the hours of editing. Because my name is on this. My brand is on this. So I'm not going to just throw pictures out that look any kind of way.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, you know, I'm going to nip, I'm going to judge, I'm going to do what I need to do. And sometimes I'm up late editing at night, but it's what I love to do.
Yeah. So even with the editing, I think a lot of times, unless you have been on both sides of the camera, you don't really know the struggle. But I think with creators, that's sometimes why people don't understand the pricing. Yeah. You know, it's like all she did was took some pictures and what, but they don't understand the work that it goes into it of making that picture right. Like sometimes it could just be, I know you, how particular you are. It's like, let me fix that house. You know, you could be looking at the picture, it's like, wait a minute, I'm going to turn this, I'm going to change this just to satisfy not only your brand, but really that customer and the people who looking at it, you know.
So people like, and I love how you said people don't realize what goes into pricing because we can do a whole nother show on that, on that one. But, you know, like you said, people just look at all she did was snap a button. No, you got equipment to pay for in order for your picture to look like it does. You got this studio, you got this lighting, you got upgraded equipment. You got all these softwares that you are paying monthly payments for. You got insurance. You know, you have all these dynamics that's going into that one portrait.
Yeah.
This portrait.
Yeah.
So many dynamics went into creating that one portrait.
You know, I couldn't do it because sometimes y'all will look at the picture, you just snap the camera 10 times and it's the same pose. And of those 10 poses, because I even hate looking at my edits. And I was like, please just pick a for me. And he was like, no, you got to pick. I was like, oh, Lord, I don't know what to pick. I mean, it's 10 poses, the same pose. You got to pick the perfect one. I mean, that's a lot of work. But when it's purpose, it might be a lot of work, but when it's purpose, it's passion, it's fun, it's exciting to get that finished product, and it's worth it at the end of the day.
It's worth it at the end of the day because, you know, let's just take you, for instance. You know, when you did your photo shoot, a lot of times in the process of the shoot, people are not seeing my vision.
Right.
You know, when I'm telling you, do this, do that. No, let's do this, let's do that. So people are not seeing my vision until the end product. And then they see, oh yeah. that was good right there. You know, so it's so much that goes into, and even with your photo shoot, you saw the passion.
Yeah. Exactly. Because when it was over with, I felt like I had worked out. I said, Lord, I done did a whole workout, but it was so fun. And I didn't even realize that much time had went by. And I think that's what a lot of times people get when it's passion, people buy into. And it makes it even more exciting versus if somebody say, oh, I just need a little side money. Let me go take some pictures. When it's packed, and nothing against that, I understand, but when it's passion driven, it's like a full throttle thing. It's a whole nother level. It's like a high that people can't even explain. And you pull people into that experience. That's what it is. It's an experience. And you pull people into the experience.
And I'm glad you said experience because that's what I want everybody that walk through those doors. I want it to be an experience, not just, oh, let me come get some pictures taken. Because anybody can do that. You can do that on the iPhone.
Yeah.
But what I want you to take out of this is, oh my goodness, I've had an experience.
Yeah.
Not just a photo shoot.
Yeah.
But I literally had an experience. And then, you know, we might throw a little God in the midst. Look, we had church. Look, I'm just saying, you know, in other words, you know, God he's everywhere. It's no off limits for me with him.
Yeah.
And so many times I've had to stop photo shoots and minister.
Wow. Because I do remember with my photo shoot, it was my birthday photo shoot, but I was in a space and I was like, I just wanted to feel beautiful for a little bit. And he was like, oh, I got that. If that's all you need, I got that. But I think you saw behind the veil and he was like, this is more than just some photos for some birthdays or whatever. It's something deeper going on. And you felt that through who you are in your ministry. That's also a whole nother thing of what you do. And you was able to bring out not only spiritually, but mentally, emotionally, and then the physical shot of it too. And I think if people now know what all happened in that whole photo shoot, they will be able to go back and look in the eyes of me and see the transformation of what maybe the first shot was, where I was in that despair moment, to where you bring it out the beauty of who I am emotionally. And I think that's what the experience is a lot of times.
And it is, because a lot of times God does show me things.
Yeah.
You know, that's going on with my clients or people that and it's not all the time.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, you know, he does, and he just allows me, because I take no credit, but he just allows me through my camera to be able to bring healing, you know, to people. And this is my greatest ministry, because even though, you know, my husband and I pastor a church, I will never reach the amount of people there that I do here.
Right.
And so that's the way that I see this. I see this as a ministry, as a gift, to be able to show people, you know, your beauty, your worth.
Yeah. And show yourself.
And
show the person. Yeah.
And show, because so many people, like I said, have said, this is me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is you. This is really you. This is who you are. And so that's purpose to me.
Yeah. And that's why I really hope a lot of young people continue to watch this, because a lot of times when you're sitting in school, it's more than past that classroom, that teacher, that assignment. This is help guide you. It's defining who you are.
Right.
You know, and a lot of times people they find out who they are, but they don't define it.
Right.
And a lot of times creators, I mean, whether you're painting or you're doing photography or whether you're doing acting or whatever, it's something deeper past that skit or past that photo. It's the ministry side of it, of the passion and purpose of who you are. And I think you resemble that a lot of times, all the time in your work. And that's why I like these interviews, because it showcases that. And it shows young people that it's in you too.
It's in you.
You know, it's in you too.
It's God has purpose in, like I said earlier, in everybody.
Yeah.
You just got to tap into it.
Yeah.
But it's there.
Yeah.
That purpose is there.
And you do got to do the work.
And you got to do the work.
Yeah. And I mean, and it goes back to why this interview is important, because you've been doing the work since you were 16. You know, and you have to have a lot of situations where you say, yeah, I'm not going to keep on flipping these burgers. I'm doing it now because I got to. And I'm going to embrace that.
Right.
But I know this ain't the end. So you had to go through that to get to where you are now. And because I know if I had asked you, do you regret anything that has happened to you? So you had to go through that. It was a defining moment for this moment.
And my thing is to always reach for more. You know, like you said, when I started at Hardest, I knew Hardest wasn't my end. But of course, you know, God don't show us everything. But I working at Hardest at 16, I never would have known I would be a photographer. Never would have guessed it. Yeah. Never would have known. But each part of my journey brought me to where I am right now. Each part.
Yeah.
I embrace each part, the good, the bad, the ugly. I embrace each part that has brought me to where I am in this journey now.
And I just want young people to know it's the good, the bad, the ugly. You didn't wake up with your own studio.
No. No, I started at home.
Yeah.
In my garage. So I just want to say to young people, anybody, start where you are.
Yeah.
Okay. If your job ended or something and you know how to bake good pies, well, bake good pies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bake good pies. Start where you are. Hone into what's already on the inside of you. So many times we trying to do things that maybe God has in purpose or designed for us to do. So it's a struggle. But when you in purpose and when you just, okay, God, show me what my purpose, what I'm supposed to be doing. He'll start opening up doors and opening up steps to show you.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where I need you to go. This is what I need you to do. Just do it. Trust him and do it.
Yeah. Do it tight.
Do it tight.
Do it happy.
Yes. Because like I said, I started in my garage. I started photography in my garage.
Wow.
And I stayed in my garage for 7 years.
Wow.
Until I opened up my first, this is my second studio. Ooh. I opened up my very first one was in Tight Squeeze.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we saw this location. We moved from Tight Squeeze here. So, starting at Tight Squeeze and coming here, because this was the bigger location. But my ultimate goal is I want to open a second location.
Okay.
That's my ultimate goal is keep this here. But I would like to have a second location somewhere. Maybe even if it's not this big, but I would like to have a second. Now, we're going to talk about my ultimate goal is I would like to build a studio from the ground up. Ooh. Whether it happens or not, that's in God's plan. Yeah. But that's my goal. Yeah. Is to build a studio from the ground up.
I want to be at the ribbon cut.
Oh, yeah, girl. You know that.
I want to be at the ribbon cut.
You know that.
Okay, as someone who's built multiple creative businesses, how do you balance the art and the business side?
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
Creators struggle with that.
That's a loaded question. That's what I thought. And it is a struggle. Yeah. Because all I want to do is create. Yeah. I don't want that. But because I've always been business minded, okay, then I do know that there's a business side and I can't just shoot and not know the business side of it. And, if I had my way, I would just shoot and forget the business side, but you can't. Right. And a lot of times that's why people do go out of business is because they love the creative side, but they don't realize there is a business side. You got to have them taxes. You got to have whatever certificates that's needed. You have to have all of this stuff or else it's just a hobby.
Gotcha. And that's another episode, but we're going to touch it. How do you know what's a business and what's a hobby? Because that has been the conversation a lot of times for entrepreneurs in all these different workshops. Even now when we get grant funding, support big people in starting their business, mm-hmm, we have to determine, is this a hobby or a business, mm-hmm, to support them in funding? So mm-hmm, how do you distinguish when it's a hobby and when it becomes your business?
I think that the difference is in that is really the passion in it.
Yeah.
Because with a hobby, you can have a passion for it for a little while and you can put that camera down and go on about your business.
Yeah.
But when you know that this thing is a business, okay, I got to stick it out regardless. And like we spoke on earlier, I have to do this tired. Yeah. I have to do this when I don't feel like it. Yeah. Because, this is a business. This is something that I want to leave as a legacy.
Ooh, yeah.
So a hobby is just, okay, I'm doing this for a little while. But a business is, I'm building a legacy.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I forgot about the questions. I don't know where I'm at. What has been some of your biggest lessons learned as a creative entrepreneur in a small community?
Well, the biggest lessons I think that I have learned is I'm not a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
I'm one of those, I will share, what I know. I will, help anybody. And I'm not a competitive person. And I think the biggest lesson is to learn you don't have to compete.
Yeah.
You can be in the same genre. You don't have to compete.
Yeah.
The only competition I have is with myself, and then I keep getting better. But, the next photographer out here, if they reach out to me, I'm going to reach back. If they say, Knyla, I got a question, can you help me with ABC? Absolutely, I can. This is what you need to do. And, of course, you don't care Ed now.
Right.
But, I don't mind because somebody helped me.
Yeah.
Somebody helped me. And so I think the biggest lesson that I've learned is I think to when to share and when to not, because sometimes when you just have a big heart and just want, sometimes they can come back to bite you sometimes. Yeah. So I think, just learning that lesson of when to give and when to hold.
Mm-hmm. And then also, this question is directed about being in a small community. And that was intentional for me to say that because a lot of times people think it's a small community. Not only that it's competitive, that is not enough people. Mm-hmm. Even in this town, in Danville alone, it's over 42,000 something. You can't take all the people's picture. Mm-mm. It's room for all. And people need to understand, even in a small community, it's space and place for everybody.
And the thing of it is, and this is what I say, and I'm glad you brought that up, because why I say I'm not a competitive person, because of simply what you said. There's people out here for everybody. My thing is this. You have some awesome photographers out here. Well, the way that I photograph is different than the way they photograph. So if you like how they photograph, choose them. It doesn't make me bad.
Right. Exactly.
It just means you like how they photograph better for this particular thing. And then you may come back to me and say, well, I want to work with you on this thing because this is different than how this photographer does it.
Yeah.
And so everybody is different.
Yeah.
So you have to choose as a client, who you want to work with because of their style.
Yeah. And I think that's also a thing too, because I have even had been a model and did a lot of photography in Lynchburg, Greensboro, just local Lynchburg, Greensboro, and even here. When I did some work for S.H.I.N.E, I never forget, it was Eye of something in Lynchburg because she wanted to create more images on social media and clip art. She wanted to create more that people of color. So she did a whole downtown photo shoot, anybody that wanted to sign up. Her work, I look at it, is different than when I did for Miles in Greensboro. And they know each other.
Right.
And then you hear, like, I'm just naming 3 of 3 million probably photographers in this area. But I look how I even look different.
Mm-hmm.
How I even look different in all 3 of you guys' shots.
Because I saw you in a different light and they saw, because my vision for you is different than their vision is for you. It's just like, when we used to do in class with my mentor, Lisa, when we do these shootouts and we have a model. Well, the model hasn't changed their location, but the photographers each see that model in a different way.
Exactly.
So even though it's the same location, this photographer, her picture gonna look totally different.
Exactly.
And we were in the same location.
And not only would the picture look different, the editing will look different. All of that would look different. And that's why I tell people all the time, and that's why I intentionally put small community in that question, because people need to understand it's so much bigger than the zip code.
It is.
It is so much bigger than the zip code. And there's no such thing as competition.
Because our thumbprint is what makes us different.
Exactly.
That's what makes us different. I mean, if God wanted us all to be the same, we'd be robots.
Yeah.
But we each are unique in our own way.
I love that. That thumbprint.
That's thumbprint, girl.
Some people fear starting new things later in life. What advice would you give someone who feels it's too late to chase that purpose?
Start.
Yeah.
Start it. Start. Don't ever feel like it's too late. It's only too late when you stretched out across the front. That's when it's too late. Because as long as you got breath and you're in good health, start.
Yeah.
Start it.
Yeah.
And then start it. Let God take you through it. And do it. Just do it.
Just
the
like it.
Just do it.
And you even mentioned in good health. Sometimes it ain't even in good health, because I have seen a lot of people's passion come through illness. Like,
that's true.
Something happens to them and they have to pivot or whatever.
That's true.
So like you said, as long as you got breath, you know, and the mind to do it, do it.
Do it. Just do it.
Okay, so this is one. So somebody who do a lot of stuff, how do you define success now versus when you started, and how you look at things now? How do you define success?
I define success as from when I first started as just being able to be who you are.
Gotcha.
Just being able to walk out your purpose. That's really the only way that I can define success, is just being able to walk out and success doesn't always necessarily mean you have all this money.
Right.
But success can mean that you are well balanced in life.
Yeah.
And you have some hiccups. All of us do. But just being well balanced in life, because some people can be successful in business and jacked up somewhere else.
Right.
So just being well-rounded, that's success to me.
I like that, because we chase money. Some people chase that dollar and have all these other things that left undone.
Right.
And then some people don't focus on money at all, which I say that is not always a good idea.
Right.
You got to be able to pay your people. Right. It was just when you got what you got. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying everybody's built to be millionaires, but you got to do what you got to do to be successful. But do we look at being healthy emotionally, physically, and financially? What does that look like? I like that balance.
And you have to have balance, because if something is tilting more so than other, you're going to be unbalanced, and you're going to walk around, well, why do I feel this way? Because somewhere along the line, we are balanced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've won awards like Best Portrait of a Man and earned Image Excellent honors. What does those achievements mean to you personally and professionally?
Personally, I don't know if I can even describe. I'm finna get a little teary-eyed. But personally, I don't even know if I can even describe how that feels, because it's like, even on this journey, there have been times that I've been tired. There's been times that honestly sometimes be like, I just want to put my camera on the shelf and don't pick it back up. But I say, no, I'm going to continue to learn and work hard. And that was one of my goals, was to win imaging competition. And my thing also in that, the personal satisfaction of is, God, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Little on me.
Got a little awards, several of them.
Yeah.
Sitting in there on the shelf. Little on me that started from Hardee's.
Yeah. At
16 to become an award-winning photographer. Man.
Yeah.
Not prideful.
Yeah.
But thankful.
Yeah. How do you feel when you see it in the magazine?
Like, oh, girl.
Maybe want to buy all the edits.
Yeah. I do. Be like, okay, Knyla, all right. Okay, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And then from a professional standpoint, it lets people see, that I'm just not some person that decided I'm going to open up a studio.
Yeah.
But it lets people see that my brand and my name that I stand behind, that means I've done the work.
Yeah.
And imaging excellence, in order to even receive, that's a very high honor.
Okay.
And in order to even receive that in photography, there's 12 elements to a portrait.
Wow.
And in order for you to reach imaging excellence, all 12 of those have to have been met.
Wow.
So the images that I received imaging excellence on, that means that it exceeded the quote unquote norm. And all 12 arts, I checked all 12.
Wow.
So from a professional standpoint, that's pretty good.
I say so. Yeah. Yeah. So what does it feel like when you know you almost put the camera on the show and then you get that call that you have won this award? What does that feel like on the inside?
It's just said, girl, keep pushing.
Yeah.
Girl, you gotta keep pushing. You can't stop.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have days like that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna always be up on the mountain. You're gonna have days that you're tired. You're gonna have days that you wondering, okay, do I quit or do I keep going? Just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going, because in the end, you will say, I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did. Because yes, there are days, and it's a lot of photographers out here.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes you do wonder, just being honest, sometimes you do wonder, okay, there's so many photographers out here, how is that going to affect my business? So, as a business-minded person, all this stuff goes through your mind.
Because you even made a post, I think yesterday or the day before, even about AI.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even competing now with AI. But I think it goes back to what you said, the thumbprint, your DNA.
Your DNA.
AI can't replicate.
No. And the thing of it is with AI, and I know a lot of people playing with it, with their pictures and stuff, but it will never replace a memory.
Yeah.
You can play with AI and make this and make that, but it will never replace the experience that you had when you came to the studio.
Exactly.
It will never replace that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can almost be a tool.
Oh, absolutely.
The competition.
Yes, it's a tool. And I love AI in my work because it's a tool that helps enhances my work.
It doesn't create the experience.
But it does not create the experience. And you can't create a wedding with AI. Yeah. So photographers are still going to be needed to create those memories and those moments.
Yeah. I love that. And that goes back to you not gatekeeping, because it was probably somebody somewhere that needed to hear that. Because they get in fear of that.
Right.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
Right.
It needed that check.
Right.
That quick check.
To say, okay, it's going to be all right, y'all. For all my photographer friends out there, it's going to be okay.
I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be okay.
I think I'm so nervous. How do you get the urge to push your creative boundaries and evolve your craft? Like when you win an awards now, why change? You said that I want to do this, I want to do this. How do you get the urge to push past what's comfortable and go back into being uncomfortable? How do you do that?
Because I continue learning.
Okay.
And that's the thing for me. Like in January, I'm going to Tennessee to what's called Imaging USA, where photographers from all over the world come to this convention. And it's all these classes that you learn. Never stop learning. Never get to a point that you feel like, oh, I've gotten it all. I've learned it all. No, you haven't. It's always more. So when I get in my little down places, I look at YouTube. If it's not a class that I'll look at YouTube, or I'll get with my mentor, Lisa. Lisa, let's do some. Or like I said, just sign up for a class. I continue to learn. And that's what continues to help me. And then the push, what helps pushes me also is the people that stand behind me. And the people that encourage me, like my daughter Nadia. My daughter's paralyzed.
Yeah.
My daughter's been paralyzed since she was 19 years old. And to watch my baby push every day, that's my push.
Gotcha.
And then, of course, my husband, my mom, and then my mentor, Lisa, my family. All these people push.
Yeah.
They push me to keep going.
I love it. And the drive that you have within yourself.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not a quitter.
Yeah.
I get tired, but I've never been a quitter.
I love it. I love it. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I forgot that I'm interviewing her. I'm caught up in the interview like myself. What are some of the ways you hope your work inspire and uplift people in this region, in this community?
What I would hope that my work would do, and especially, and whether you coming up as a photographer or anything, I hope that me winning these awards and people seeing all these pictures would just help to encourage them to keep going and to start.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, to start and to keep going and don't give up. And always know that, there is purpose. There is a purpose in you. And just the main thing is don't give up, but you got to start somewhere.
And the reason why I want to interview women like you and other women in this community, because people like you exist. You come from here. You can do it. You're showing people. It doesn't matter your zip code. Nope. It doesn't matter where you come from. You can do it. And that's what I want to show them. It's reality. It's right here in your face. It's reality. You can do it. Anybody can do it. Not to say that it's knowledge anybody. Right. Saying it's giving you the opportunity to see what lies right here inside your own zip code.
But not only that, but just having a studio on the main street
in Chatham,
being a Black women on, because of course I do have a business partner, Tanisha, but just being Black women owning a studio on the main street of Chatham.
Yeah. And if people don't know what that means, they got to look it up. Yeah. But that within itself needs a moment.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing just that by itself.
And so when people get exposed and see these videos, I didn't realize until recently somebody brought it to my attention. I think it was Reese, because Reese, all about history and genealogy. She was like, this is oral history. You made history.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that in the questions, but you made oral history. Being a Black woman that owns a business on Main Street in Chatham, Virginia. Yes. That's good. So talking about being a Black woman, being a Black woman entrepreneur and an artist, what has your experience been like navigating in spaces that haven't always been diverse and inclusive?
I don't really, because I really come up in an era to where I really didn't experience a lot of racism.
Okay.
Just experience some of maybe because I'm a woman.
Yeah, talk about it.
And especially even in ministry.
Wow.
So back when I was called into ministry, so I've been in ministry 31 years.
Wow.
So back when I was called into ministry, they didn't believe in women preachers. So that was a struggle for me. Of course, you still have that now, but it's more people now that that's not as prevalent as it was back then. So that was, knowing that you've been called by God, and then to have some person to tell you you're not. Because of what that's their agenda now. Yeah, their gender, what they believe. But so I think from that, that helped me to be able to also get where I am now as a woman, because from that,
gotcha,
it allowed me to say, it don't matter what she said.
Right.
As far as me as a woman.
Right.
I'm going to do what I know God has called me to do. I'm going to do my passion. I'm going to do my purpose, whether you accept me or not. Yeah. And that's just the way I feel.
Yeah. I know one lady had told me, because she was having to say when she was growing up in the ministry, somebody had told her that, and they wanted her to do all the work, but not the sermon. And so she was like, I don't mind doing the work and the sermon. And she had even talked about she would do the sermon in the field on a rock before she defied what she's been told was her purpose.
Right.
And I think taking all of that makes that drive again. Because if you can fight that battle, that lets you know I can fight any battle. And I got somebody that's fighting with me, whoever that may be and whomever that may be.
Right.
So I like how you said it gives you the strength, the acknowledgments to say, I'm going to fight on, you know? And I think a lot of times young people get discouraged because they see the algorithms of that 30-second video or TikTok and they don't understand what goes behind, what the war cry is.
Right. And so many, and that's the thing. That's why you have to be careful of wanting to be like somebody else.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's why you have to pray and ask God what your purpose is, because, honey, a lot of what somebody else is doing behind the scenes, you wouldn't be able to endure it.
Yeah.
Because it would be too hard.
Because it's not your purpose.
And it's not your purpose.
Yeah.
So that's why, social media is good and sometimes it's not. Yeah. Because it puts this image up for people. Well, I got to be like this. I got to do this. No. Because you think your struggle bad now, you get out of purpose.
Yeah.
And then you really gonna have a struggle.
Exactly. And, as I look around your studio and I see the images, all these portraits and stuff on the wall, I wish you guys could see the amazing work that she did. I want young people to know that it's possible, but also it's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy. But it is. That's the thing. You said the key word. It is possible.
Yeah.
But you got to put in the work. And I want these young people to understand, you can't expect stuff to be handed to you.
Yeah.
You got to work. You got to work it.
Yeah. And a lot of times it'll be more people pulling it and taking versus giving.
Right.
And I think I realize a lot of times people think the number is small and who's successful. But it's a lot of people that defy the odds. They just don't get the opportunity to be showcased. And that's why I like the series, because I want to showcase you guys, not only just say thank you, but to showcase who you guys are and where you have come from and what you do, because it gets lost in the sauce sometimes. And somebody just see the post of you winning the image award.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you for doing the work.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I think that's the part of it. Everybody can't do the work.
Everybody can't do the work. But you got to do the work. You got to do the work.
Yeah. So I know, how do you wear the hats? Because you was talking about, she wears so many hats, she left them out of bio. What I'm telling you. So how do you, one of your creative things is you work for the funeral home. That's got to be purpose. What? I just got to talk about it. I don't know why, but what is that like? Oh,
I remember, because when I started working with the funeral home, I actually started doing the hair first.
Wow.
Before I started doing the funeral programs, I would do hair. And I remember I would be so scared.
Yeah.
To be in there by myself. I used to get somebody from the funeral home to sit in there with me until I finished doing the hair, because I'd be so scared. Honey, now I could go in there, it might be 20 bodies in there. And I go in there and do what I got to do. And then from that, of course, the funeral programs.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that with Miller. I work with Miller Funeral. I've also worked with Hamilton. Here doing her funeral programs as well. And I've done them for plenty. Before they closed down, I did them out there in North Carolina. I did their funeral programs. So that's really, my little footprint in the funeral home. And I've done makeup in the funeral home as well. So I've been with Miller for 26 years, but working with area funeral homes pretty much the same amount of time.
And it goes back to you being a graphic designer. It shows when you talk about the vehicle to get you there was the hair, but you're successful in doing the graphic designs of the programs and all of that. That's just amazing. That's when you know it's purpose. Like, we talk about purpose a lot on the show, but that vehicle thing, I was going to stick with me for the rest of my life, but that's how that works. You just went in there as the vehicle of the hair and end up now doing graphic design work for not one, just Miller, but 3 or 4 different funerals.
And the thing of it is, on your journey, don't ever discredit anything on your journey because it's always taking you somewhere.
Yeah.
It's always taking you somewhere. So everything that I have done has always taken me somewhere. And I can reach back to everything that I've done. I can reach back and pull something. It's just like now, if I stop doing photography, I can go back to doing hair.
Right.
If I stop doing photography, I can go back to baking cake.
Yeah.
If I stop doing photography, I can go back and work with the military.
Yeah.
If I stop doing photography, I can work with the funeral home.
Yeah.
So each and everything that I have done has been a part of my journey and a part of my quote unquote success.
Yeah.
Everything that I've done. So don't ever discredit, even if it's something that you failed at.
Yeah.
Don't ever discredit that because it was a part of your journey. You learned something even in the failure.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, I love this. I keep losing my spot. Okay, I know you talked about your mentor. What did mentorship do for you and what does it look like for you now?
Mentorship. So I had have a mentor, and her name is Lisa Carter, and she's been doing photography for over 40 years. She has her own studio. And I remember, we first met through social media.
Okay.
And we just hit it off and became friends. And I remember, and see, this is the thing, glean all you can from somebody. So I remember just going and seeing all her work and all her beautiful portraits. And I was just so excited. Oh, I want to learn. Show me. And I remember that she came back when I had my home studio. She came in like Lisa, just Lisa. Mm-hmm. Hey, Lisa. Lisa, just Lisa. And she came in there, you need to do this. You need to paint this. You need to take this down. Now somebody else would have got offended.
Yeah.
I didn't get offended.
Right.
Because she's walked where I'm trying to go. So I didn't get offended. I said, okay. Honey, I think it was probably 2 days later. Everything that she told me that I needed to do, I had to. That's part of my success. You got to learn constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Now, even in my images, because she's been a great part in me getting these awards, because even in my images, I could have even taken a great picture. Oh, I'm excited. Oh, this is a beautiful picture. Lisa, what you think? You need to fix this. You need to fix this. And and I ain't gonna say my little bubble didn't get busted. But she'll say, you need to fix this and this and this. And I'll fix it.
Yeah.
I'll send it back. So Lisa, how is this? Okay.
Yeah.
That is why I have all those awards.
Yeah.
It's because I didn't take it personal, but I knew that she was trying to help me to get where I was trying to get. Yeah. So find you a mentor. Find somebody that you can glean from.
Yeah.
Somebody that can, just show you and teach you. And we are the best of friends.
And you know what? I know her ears burning because literally this week, you're probably the 3rd person who's mentioned her name.
Really?
Yes. And in a lot of it, the other 2 cases wasn't even photography.
Oh, wow.
That she has inspired them in other ways.
In other ways. So,
like you said, if we want to talk about not gatekeeping, evidently she's one of those people because literally somebody else has said her name. And
I was literally getting ready to say that. Because she wasn't a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Look where his brought me.
Yeah.
That's why we can't be
gatekeepers. Yeah.
Because we supposed to be what help us one to another.
Yeah.
That's why we can't be gatekeepers.
Right.
And like I said, you don't tell all your secrets. Right. But it's not going to hurt you to help somebody.
And what you said was when you don't tell all your secrets is because then you become me.
Right.
And that's not what you want for anybody. As a mentor, sometimes you have to let them figure out. Yeah. Because that becomes them. That makes them signature.
Right.
Versus you're not the replication of you.
Right.
They become their own signature.
And even in when I help other photographers, And even when they come in here and they may watch me shoot something, they still gonna put their own signature on it.
Exactly.
I can sit here, I can give them all my settings, I can give them all my lighting.
Yes.
This is how I light, this is the camera settings. They still gonna be able to put their own spin on it.
Yeah. I don't know that. Okay. So let's get into self-care.
Okay.
What do you do? Because we talk about these late nights and 2 or 3 days at a time. And what do you do to refill your creative cup when you're tired and when you unexpired? Because I think that's another thing that we don't talk about with creators, being unexpired, being in that drought period. What do you do to feel that creative?
Well, I'm gonna tell you the number one thing is, honey, my vacations. B-A. Okay. When I tell my husband, baby, let's go, or he'll say, baby, let's go somewhere for a few days. Oh my goodness. I just love that.
Okay.
So that's my self-care. And then I'm not a person that now when I was young, I used to stay as we say, in the streets doing something. But I'm not like that anymore. So my self-care, just going home and being able to get on my couch, read a book, or to watch my paternity court. My Judge Mathers. Okay. And then again, like I said, just watch different YouTube videos when I'm uninspired. Get on that couch, look at different YouTube videos, dealing with photography.
Yeah.
And that always gets me inspired. But just sometimes just saying, okay, I gotta have this me time.
Yeah.
And just even my husband, like, babe, you need to go, just go.
Yeah.
Just having that me time.
Yeah. Are you the type of person that end up crashing and burning and then don't have any choice but to do me time? Or do you the type of person that schedule it and got to require it? What does that look like for you?
I used to be the crash and burn. But now the older, because I'm 59. So I can't crash and burn.
Wow. You're a little 59, but go ahead. Okay.
Look, so now I have to I just schedule out time for me.
Yeah.
And say, okay, Knyla, put the photography aside. They can wait.
Yeah.
And I love my kids, my grandkids. They can wait. Yeah. Love my husband.
Yeah.
He can wait.
Yeah.
But it's me time.
Yeah. And a lot of people really, really struggle with that. And I think if we could start teaching young people to practice that now versus the burnout, the hit, because I think a lot of times when we operate in burnout, we lose purpose. We think it's not our purpose, but it is. We just not operate in the right mindset.
Yes.
So I think if you guys can learn anything, learn from Knyla where she says schedule it.
Yeah.
Schedule it. Don't wait for it. Schedule it.
And step back.
Yeah.
You always have to have a step back moment.
Yeah.
And just breathe. Because if you just continuing, and that's where that burnout is going to come in. If you just continue to go and go and go and go and go, and you don't take a step back, then like you said, what is really just you needed to step back may look like it's time to quit.
Yeah. And
it's not.
Yeah.
It's just that you just need to take that time to step back and breathe.
Yeah.
And then go back into it. And then when you feel like you need to take that time again, take it.
Yeah.
Take it. Because that's what's going to help keep you from getting to that burnout.
Right.
Is that you're going to have to take time and step back.
Yeah. This is good, but we're going to have to wrap it up, you guys.
Yeah.
But tell me, one last question. Like, what is your favorite quote or scripture, a mantra? What is words that you live by?
My very favorite scripture is Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. And things don't always mean material things. Yeah. It's whatever you need in life.
Ooh. Right there, that sums it up, you guys. Knyla Harris, True North Speaker Series, episode 4. Thank you so much, Knyla, for singing.
Absolutely. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, because it was an honor. Yeah. It was an honor to sit with the great S.H.I.N.E. But And it's an honor to be able to tell my story and to share my story. So thank you.
No, thank you. You guys heard it here. Knyla Harris, True North Speaker Series. See you next time.
Bye-bye.